talking about The Great Wall and its new movie trailer. We're talking about Netflix's Marvel lineup of TV shows and finishing off with some NX/PlayStation stuff. Because, yeah, we talk about those things every now and then. And what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Words to My Face. My name is Brian. With me is always producer extraordinaire Brendan.
Yo.
And we are the one and only home of the Chewbacca chainsaws. Yeah, and Chewie got a little bit close to me earlier this week. That's why you're noticing my hair. It's gone. It's not there anymore.
The dangers of living with Wookiees. This
was intentional, so, and it was very well done, actually. I really enjoy this haircut. It's a lot different than what I'm used to, but you know, it never hurts to change things up every now and then, as they say.
You actually kind of look like Dustin Kensrue.
All right, that's the new one. I've gotten Leonardo DiCaprio, Bryce Harper, and Justin Bieber. Unfortunately, I'll take all of them but Justin Bieber. But you know, I mean, my hair was better until the show got delayed by a half hour.
Yeah, the beard going, similar hair color.
And this one piece of hair doesn't want to stay up on the side. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. It's hair. It grows.
Yes, it does.
But yeah, so it is Monday night. It is entertainment night. So let's get things started. Let's talk some movies. Movie news. So The Great Wall, the Matt Damon starring flick that will be coming to us in 2017, just got its first movie trailer. Now, this movie was interesting. When they first announced it, they just pretty much gave you the little title of, you know, why did they build the Great Wall? To protect them from what? And nobody was quite sure what it was going to be. Well, after we got our first trailer, we kind of got a sense of it. So if you watch the trailer, and if you haven't, go ahead and jump over after you watch this video and watch it. It's on YouTube. It's everywhere. It actually looks really, really entertaining. But it looks like it's going to be set sometime around, 1,000 to 1,300 ADE. What do we call it? BCE now? It changes so often.
BC? Oh, it's BC would...
Or BCE? No. Because, you know, they changed
This was
BC
definitely a lot
BCE.
later than BC.
Did they change AD to something else?
It's all the same. It just depends. They are slightly different naming scales that are actually, okay, I think, off by 6 years of each other.
It takes place about 1,000 years, let's just say, ago. After the Great Wall has just been erected, and it seems like there's some peril going on, so the Song Dynasty reaches out to bring some mercenaries, some minds from around the world to come help them out. And they show up, and guess what they're defending the wall against?
Dragons.
Okay. Well, actually, yeah, kind of.
That's what they look like to me. I saw the trailers.
They were kind of dragons.
Instead of the funny thing there is there was a real answer. It's not like it's a mystery what they were defending themselves against.
The Mongols. Yeah, it wasn't a mystery.
Was it the Mongols or the Huns, or are they the same?
We'll just say a combination of both.
We know that it was an invading force, and we know what the force was. It's not a mystery, okay?
It wasn't a mystery at all. So this movie, like I said, is starring Matt Damon. It also has starring Jin Kyung, Pedro Pascal, William Dafoe, and Andy Lau. So pretty big cast. Andy Lau, if you don't know him, I believe he's probably, if you had to pick that guy in China, that's him for movie stars. He's that guy. So he's pretty big. It looks like it's being produced by a group of, it seems like it was very interesting. They said that this movie actually had the largest budget of any movie ever filmed solely in China. So huge budget with $135 million budget. Humongous
I'm surprised
budget.
that that's the highest.
Well, I mean, China, yeah, they have their own Hollywood wannabe thing, but they don't put as much production value into it because it's not lucrative.
Whenever they do put their money behind something, it's usually a pretty big deal anyway.
Pretty big thing, yeah.
They don't do it very often. But
yeah. And it looks like the production companies are going to be Legendary East. I believe that is a Chinese company. We have Lead Vision Pictures, sounds French, but I don't know. We have Atlas, that'll be the American group, and then China Film Group. So I believe half of it's American, half of it's Chinese is how they're doing it. And it seems like a interesting joint venture. Yeah, I guess. I just don't think we see it very often where companies team up for such a big movie. I mean, you always see plenty of different production companies in the trailers of every movie, but it doesn't ever seem to be this big of a grand scale, $135 million movie. Just think about that. That's bigger than a season of Game of Thrones, which usually comes in about 110 to 120 million.
Well, that's probably the reason why, though, that they're doing this as a joint venture is because of the budget. Because from what I understand, the bigger the budget, the more likely they are to split it between studios in order to split up the
but from different countries,
and the risk. Yeah, from different countries,
and especially with the China Film Group, because I do believe that is the government film group.
So, yeah, the closest I can think of to that would be what DreamWorks has and some other places have done for animated series, but for DreamWorks case anyway, it's still pretty much all DreamWorks. They just have a studio in China, so
that helps them out with stuff. So yeah, so I mean it's pretty big. Now, in terms of the story, it does look really, really cool. I did think the monster aspect of things made it interesting. Kind of, I mean, it's a weird vibe to get from it, but I kind of got the Independence Day vibe. You know, like, okay, we're banding a group of people that don't necessarily always get together, getting together to fend off something that might destroy the entire human race. So it was pretty interesting.
I mean, I kind of got, honestly, more of a, which wouldn't be a good sign. I was going to say Ring of Fire vibe. You remember that movie?
Rain of Fire.
Rain of Fire. Yeah.
You know, it grew on me. I saw it like twice, and I was like,
but it's not considered to be a good movie.
It's not very good. With all the actors they had in it too, with Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey, it really had the ability to be spectacular.
And the trailer,
in the final act.
The trailer, made it look great.
Yeah, that did make it look amazing. I mean,
I guess it also makes you a little bit scared about this movie because
which the trailer does make it look great. So I mean, I'm actually all in all, it sounds like it's right up my alley. It's one of those movies where if you're going there looking for something really super in depth and thought provoking, probably not going to find it here. But if you're looking to be able to not necessarily turn your brain off on this one, but just go and have a fun thrill ride, I think you'll find it with this movie. So.
Yeah, it does look like there might be some levels of intrigue. They did flash through showing who I assume is the Emperor of China.
It is based with the Song dynasty, so that was the last ruling dynasty and longest, I believe.
And why is Matt Damon in China is a
again
question.
The thing is, like, they reach out to a group of people from around the world to help them combat this enemy with different ways of thinking than they've already thought. So that is what the thinking was. I believe it's a group of 4 mercenaries that come, and that's William Dafoe, Pedro Pascal, and Matt Damon. So 3 mercenaries.
I'm just
so
saying
they're coming
with those...
I mean, that's a familiar concept too. Bringing in the outsider that appears and kind of helps save the day, type thing.
Yeah. I'm just saying that with those elements, there is a potential for some depth to this movie. Just we don't know. Possible. Maybe it's just going to be pure action.
Then we get to the controversy with this movie, which is actually, I mean, we've talked about this a couple times on the show, the whole whitewashing phenomenon that likes to happen. Now, I don't personally see it with this movie because, again, that's kind of the central part of the story is you're bringing in outsiders. It's kind of like, the old Westerns where the guy shows up on the edge of town. Now, you could say that, well, hey, in those Westerns, the guy was still white and there were white people there, but, I don't know. Have you read anything about the controversy of the whitewashing? How they're all mad that Matt Damon's the lead character?
Yeah, okay. I didn't read anything about it, but watching the trailer and you had told me before that we were going to be talking about some kind of controversy. I immediately picked out that that's exactly what it was going to be. I was going to because we got a movie about ancient China where the lead character is a white guy. That's what the controversy is going to be. Yeah, even though most of the characters, it looks like, are Chinese.
I'd say about 95% of them are. It's just that these 3 guys that have to be from somewhere else, so you can make them white. But it's...
To be fair, they could have made them Japanese or Indian, I guess.
Sure. Certainly that would have given them.
They could have been from...
That would have given them a more exotic look. I mean, Pedro Pascal, I believe, I don't believe he's white. He might be Spanish, I think. But
in fact, had they made them African, they could have made this a tie-in with Aladdin, because Aladdin is set in China around that time, and Jafar and Jafar's brother come from Africa.
That's interesting. Didn't know that one.
And they know things. Yeah. And then they could just come with genies, and that's how they fight the dragons.
Yeah. Well,
and that's how they rise to power. That's I don't know.
So after Brennan sidetracked us enough, I don't really want to get too in depth on it. You know, it kind of is not something I feel I need to throw my hat in the ring every time I hear something like that. I do totally understand, and you know, on this show, if you watch this show, I'm a big fan of diversity in characters. I really celebrated Marvel when they started diversifying the superheroes they were bringing to the stage, and you know, it makes more depth to these stories if they're not all one person, one color, one race. And so I love seeing diversity in movies. And yes, Hollywood does lack in the leading roles for, you know, non-white people.
But and particularly for Asian actors.
Well, right Asian actors, yeah, it seems to happen every time there's a Chinese or Japanese or, you know, Asian themed movie coming up. You have a lot of the Asian community all up in arms about how, you know, you have a white person. And there was the one person, I want to say her name was Kathleen Wu. She's on a show. Can't remember what show. She's on some ABC show, though. And she put out this tirade. She was really, really upset. And she put out this huge thing on Twitter. And there was one thing that she said in the middle of her statement. Most of it, I was like, yeah, okay, valid point. You're right. We need to see more, you know, people of color. That's how she put it, was POC, people of color. Taking leading roles, because you know what, it does add depth to these stories. It does add a different element. It does add, you know, a dimension to it that we haven't gotten in Hollywood for the past 75 years. So I'm all for it. No, nothing against it at all. But one part she says is, I don't need some white person telling me how to learn or telling me about my own culture. And that just got me thinking. I was like, okay, so she's saying she doesn't like The Last Samurai, obviously, you know, because that was, yeah, kind of like that. But I just got to thinking about it. The basis of the story, though, is about this outsider coming to learn about the culture. So if it was an Asian actor, you wouldn't, you know, it's kind of introducing the culture to people who might not know it. So
also, does she think that dragons really attacked China?
No, she doesn't think that. But it, you know, it's like
I'm pretty sure this is not going to be that based in reality.
No, it's not gonna be. There's no historical value to it, and so I didn't quite understand that. But she was probably talking about other movies and stuff. But again, having the person of the white person in this case, or a person that's not of that heritage, coming into a place where that heritage is, you know, that culture, you know, being introduced into the culture, it's kind of teaching the audience, you know, it's a storytelling mechanism that teaches the audience, okay, the audience isn't familiar, so we're going to introduce this character that's unfamiliar. So while we're teaching you about it, it's a good storytelling mechanism. That's really what I see that more for than just saying, okay, white people are the only people who can be heroes in movies.
Yeah. You know what I'm surprised by? Something that hasn't turned up a controversy like this, because it's almost the same thing here, is Marco Polo.
No, but that's like,
except for Marco Polo is a historical figure that was in China.
That's a great example, because yeah, Marco Polo was a white guy going there. Nobody's like, oh, they're putting a white guy in this show, they're whitewashed. No, they're not. I mean, yeah, he's the main character, it's after him, like, but all the other characters are so central and pivotal. The show is held together by everybody else rather than Marco Polo, in my opinion.
Marco Polo,
but it's a good way to introduce somebody who's unfamiliar with a culture, and to teach people who are unfamiliar with the culture, like, okay, this is a guy out of place, you know, but it's teaching you about it, and, you know, teaching the you know, it just seems like a more easy way to put the story, instead of just telling you a documentary style, this is how to catch you up. They put another character in your position, and gradually you learn, just like the character does.
That's Marco Polo's role in that show, at least in the first season, was completely just, hey, this is a foreigner in a foreign land. That way they can introduce things that are unusual to the audience through the lens of the main character. And
without
I would
having
assume
to just tell you.
We're going to get some of that in this movie. That's why you have these,
I hope so.
These strange people coming in, so that they can learn, so that things can be explained to them and explained to the audience at the same time, without being so overtly just telling narrating to the audience things that are useless.
Yeah. I mean, it's, a way of introducing people. Yeah, like I've already said that. I don't need to talk in circles. I just, say, with all the cases of whitewashing that do happen in everyday life, this is not one that I see as that. But again, I am white, so I can't.
Yeah. Well, the other thing to keep in mind too is Hollywood does have a problem with this, but this is not a Hollywood movie.
Well, this is half Hollywood, half China.
Yeah, but in from what I understand, from looking into this for other things, this is not a problem in much of the rest of the world. Like in a lot of Asian countries, they didn't understand the controversy around the Ghost in the Shell movie casting because it's not an issue there. It comes up here because it's an issue of Hollywood having done whitewashing before in these instances, but elsewhere they don't care because it's not a thing that's happened, or that it's a usual problem. And this is half another group. Like, I don't think that the Chinese studios think twice about having Matt Damon in the lead role because it's not an issue to them. It's like, hey, we got
this will bring in big bucks. We can show our stuff, and we can show our heritage, our own film,
and this is clearly meant to be a world movie, not just a U.S. market movie. So they're thinking, hey, Matt Damon's a great actor. He's a big name. He'll bring in a lot of money. He fits whatever this role is of this outsider role. They probably didn't care on that side. It only really comes up because it is an issue with specifically Hollywood and Hollywood movies having
and I sometimes think, like, what if they had cast Idris Elba as Matt Damon's character? Idris Elba is an amazing actor. He's one of the biggest, in my opinion, he's probably the biggest movie star in the world right now because of what he does in TV and movies. He's just phenomenal. He's in everything, just in the new Star Trek movie. Would people be upset because Idris Elba is put in there? Now, I mean, probably not. And that's not really the point here. I'm not trying to say it is. I'm just trying to say we need to make sure we pay attention to when this is actually, in my opinion, really being a detriment to the art form that is movies, and when it's just kind of tailored to fit in there. Seems like having a white character is kind of, you want to go bring somebody exotic. Who in the 1300s would you bring that would be exotic? You'd probably bring some sort of European over.
Or you actually could go either European or African right there.
Or African, for sure.
Both or very Arabian, far away lands.
Middle Eastern or something like that. And I think
both very far away lands. But I mean, I don't know what was really going on behind the scenes of why the decision was made. It could be that we're completely wrong, and they absolutely said, "Hey, let's get a white guy in there."
Yeah, it's very possible. It's very possible. That's why I'm not trying to, say I'm not trying to say you're wrong and I'm right. I'm just trying to say, let's just take a second and think about it. And if it is truly whitewashing, nobody buy a ticket. Simple as that.
All right, because it might end up being like Ring of Fire anyway, so no loss.
Rain of Fire. You keep saying Ring of Fire.
You know what? I'm going to call it Ring of Fire because it was that just makes it sound better. I don't know.
Okay.
The movie doesn't deserve to be correctly identified. So.
You're right. But let's keep on rolling. Let's talk a little TV. So we kind of skipped it last week, and I did it on purpose. We didn't talk about Marvel's announcements from Comic-Con about all their TV shows that'll be popping up on Netflix. And again, I stayed away from it on purpose. We talked a little bit about Ghost Rider joining Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But during their Comic-Con panel, they had a lot of interesting teasers and confirmations. So what we've gotten so far is we got a really cool Luke Cage trailer, we got a really cool Iron Fist trailer, and they give us a little teaser for the Defenders, showing that they're all going to come together, and it's probably going to be back-to-back with Iron Fist. We'll see Luke Cage in September, and then we'll probably see Defenders and Iron Fist back-to-back sometime in 2017. But they confirmed that there will be a Jessica Jones Season 2. We will be getting a Daredevil Season 3, which is awesome.
I think everyone saw that one coming. Daredevil's just done so well.
They can't stop that. And now we've had confirmation that they were going to do this for a while, but also a Punisher TV show will be coming. So it seems like this Marvel universe on the TV landscape is just starting to explode in terms of Netflix TV. you had CW doing something very, very successful when they started launching Arrow and Flash, and then we had Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl, and they've kind of done a really good job molding them all together.
They've
But
done
in my
better with the
opinion,
DC stuff than the movie side has.
yeah. But in my opinion, they don't hold a candle to the Netflix series. I mean, just the caliber of TV is just so much higher, in my opinion. Now, one is made for network and it's more serialized, and one is more movie style quality, more the premium channel stuff that we've been seeing. But I am just so excited to see this because we got our first look at Iron Fist, which is going to be awesome. I mean, it's going to be really. They showed him like knocking a door off the hinges like it was nothing. So it just looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Luke Cage looks awesome, and it doesn't actually sound like Luke Cage is going to be meshing with any of the Defenders during his solo series, or not as much. I mean, like look back to Daredevil season 1. Yeah, he had I can't remember her character's name, but Rosario Dawson's character, she shows up in there, and then she shows up at Jessica Jones. So she kind of bridges the gap between those two, but you didn't have anybody else in there. Now, you did have Luke Cage popping up at Jessica Jones, but it doesn't really sound like or look like we're going to get Jessica Jones popping up in Luke Cage the same way. It almost seems like this is going to be telling the story of Luke Cage before he meets Jessica Jones, and then we'll probably get a little bit of after when they join the Defenders. But I am super excited for Daredevil season 3. Who knows who the villain is going to be? It's going to be amazing. And the Punisher, that character was just so spectacular in Daredevil season 2 that I don't think it matters what they do. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Not much I can, not much to disagree with there. That's probably going to be how it is. We haven't seen any reason to believe the quality is going to go downhill at all. Everything they've done so far has knocked out of the park. I can't think of anything that we've seen from Netflix and Marvel, the Netflix Marvel mashup, that we could say is bad. There's not even a whole lot from Netflix that we could say is bad in general, other than their children's stuff, really. So
yeah, I like Avengers Assemble, so I'm not gonna even go with you there. And I like Ultimate
was
Spider-Man.
that supposed to be? Oh, I guess that was that Netflix specific though.
No, I believe that was on like Disney.
That's what I'm saying. Something. That's what I'm saying. Like Netflix specific, whatever. But in any case, they do a good job.
No, I mean, that was a Disney channel. I believe Avengers Assemble was a Disney Channel 1, and then now it's on Netflix streaming. So I'm just saying they got some decent stuff. Yeah, their animated universe is nothing on DC's animated universe. That's leaps and bounds above Marvel's animated universe. But it's still pretty good. But I honestly cannot wait to see all of these shows and have the Defenders finally come together. But keep coming with a steady stream of Marvel Netflix TV shows. If we can stretch it out to get 12 shows that each one comes on once a month, that might be the best thing of all time. I'm not saying it will be, but it might be.
And how many episodes do they usually do with these? It's usually like about 10 episodes? Yeah.
10 to 13.
I think that helps Netflix, and I think that's one of the keys that a lot of us overlook, is the fact that for Netflix, they like to do these 10-episode series.
Well, that's kind of what you 24. Got from FX started that, and HBO has done that, and you know, that's kind of the...
And those are the caliber corresponds with that. Like these 10-episode series work out well, especially when they have probably near the budget of the network series that have to go. They have to stretch that over 24 episodes or whatever. Not, they can concentrate. They don't have to put in as much filler to try and get 26 episodes long, whatever. They're just like, hey, we can do this in 10 episodes. We can do this as a serial rather than episodic because everyone's going to be binge watching it anyway. I think it just works out well for them to make that kind of move. And so far, hey, everything looks great doing it that way.
Yeah, hit us up. Let us know what you think. What is the Netflix show that you are most looking forward to watching from Marvel? Is it Luke Cage? Is it Iron Fist, The Defenders, Daredevil Season 3, Jessica Jones, or The Punisher? Hit us up. Let us know. Comments down below. Of course, at Where's My Face on Twitter, Google Plus, Facebook. Always good ways of getting hold of us. But let's keep on rolling. Let's talk a little video games.
Video games.
All right, so which one were we going to talk? NX rumors or PlayStation being
NX rumors first.
Okay. So, NX rumors.
Nintendo NX.
We talk about the NX a little bit here and there, but about a week ago, we really got some interesting sketches and more details on what the NX might be. Now, this is all rumors,
leaked
nothing
rumor,
confirmed,
whatever,
but it's all rumors. So it sounds like the NX is going to be a portable device. It'll be, imagine your Wii gamepad, I would imagine. But instead of like the Wii U, where you have to have the game, is that what it's called, gamepad?
Yes.
Instead of it, you can't go more than 25 feet away because you're actually just streaming stuff to the gamepad, and it's all being processed through the actual system. The processor and all the goodies will be inside the gamepad. And yes, you can have a docking system where you can stream it and play it on TV, but it will be designed to just go with it.
Yeah.
Another cool rumor that we heard might be that it'll have 2 detachable controllers, and so you can set your gamepad up kind of like a stand and play games right there on the gamepad with multiplayer. So
and I think those are the help for your docking situation, because there now you have controllers. Although I assume that you can have other controllers too with the docking station idea.
Yeah. But those were the big things that came out, and it actually sounds pretty cool. It's that interesting hybrid, and we kept hearing hybrid between handheld and console, and it still makes me a little nervous because it is a big peripheral, and who knows if people think it's and also cartridges. Yeah, they're going to go back to cartridges apparently. But
cartridges, I imagine.
Yeah, but a flash drive can be a cartridge.
So I imagine it's going to be similar to the to like the 3DS, because this is probably honestly going to be not that different from a larger version and more powerful version of the 3DS is what I'm imagining.
So this is you can
their handheld.
Broadcast your
yeah, and their handheld market, they control the handheld market pretty much, so it makes sense for them to focus on that. That's where they've really been making their money the last few years, and historically they've always done amazingly well from their handhelds. So focus on that. That makes sense. Make a docking station. Well, they've done something like that before. I don't think they did that with the 3DS or I don't know if they did it with the DS either. But, back with the old Game Boy systems, they used to have a way to attach to your console so that you could play your stuff on the big screen. So now they're just almost cutting out a console.
Well, they're putting the console as the handheld, and with, technology getting bigger, faster, and smaller, then you can do that. More powerful and smaller,
I think the other rumors. That was the other thing. It's uncertain how powerful it's going to be. They said it was going to have the.
It's going to be about Wii U. It's going to be about Wii U.
Well, that's the thing. They said that people were speculating that it's going to be less than the PS4, maybe a little bit more than the Wii U, and a little bit nervous about that. But it was we didn't have the real spec for the processor and GPU. We had the brand for it, and the thing that some people have noted is the Tegra processors from NVIDIA, I believe, are expected to have a new version before the time that the NX is supposed to come out. So it might be that new version processor that we don't know much about, and that could be more powerful than we're thinking. It's not going to be as powerful as the PS4. I would say that because it's a handheld.
No chance they're going to be able to make that into a handheld at this point. But down the line it'll be no problem, but probably not now.
Yeah, I would still say that this could still play in, because again, this is rumors. We don't have all the information. This could still play into the ideas that we've heard before, though, of this will be able to dock into something, and that something else could add more power to do more things in the game, like add frame rate or something like that.
But that's why these are rumors, because we don't know quite yet. So yeah, just keep your ears and eyes out there. Believe sometime in 2017 we will be getting our hands on the NX. So
I think in September, in about a month or a month or 2 months, we're supposed to get the official.
Okay, so we'll figure out what it is before too long, and we'll probably do a segment on that too.
Probably.
And I have one strand of hair that's really annoying. But let's keep on talking video games. Let's talk about PlayStation. Now, this is really quick, actually. It's not really a full story. But it was just released by Sony, their earnings report, that actually PlayStation accounts for 78% of Sony's profits.
Wow.
Now, Sony is a big company. They make everything. And the PlayStation accounts for 78% of their stock. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised that it accounts for the majority of their profits lately.
But
78%. Yeah, I was not expecting it to be that high. But yeah, that kind of, honestly, that shows two things. Yes, the PlayStation's been doing very well, but really the rest of Sony has just not been doing well.
Well, their movies have been horrible. Their, TVs and electronics.
Yeah, their electronics are not doing.
They were the gold standard when Walkman came out, but that was a while back. But I think it also, not only that, showing that
Blu-rays are not as big a deal right now.
Yeah, Sony as a company is going downhill, but I think it shows how big video games are just worldwide. Because if you can sustain a company, and a company that large, that is a huge company. They do so much stuff that we don't even realize that they're doing. It's like Honda. They build robots too, if you didn't know. Sony does so many crazy things that video games can keep a company that big and keep it profitable for however long. I don't know how long it's been that high of a profit share, but 78%, that's just ridiculous. Like, that's a couple $1 billion, I would imagine, just from PlayStation.
Yeah, again, I don't know, because we've been hearing for a while that Sony as a company has been struggling along lately. So it's part of it's that they've lost so much value, except for in PlayStation. PlayStation has kept going up while the rest of their company has been going down, and you can think of many reasons, like you were saying. There's also the fact that a lot of their business for a long time was based off of their optical media technology. Like, they were involved in creating CDs. That was huge.
And they had their hand in Blu-rays too.
They had DVDs. They own some of the patents for Blu-ray. So any Blu-ray player, some of the money goes back to them, right? Except people haven't really caught on to Blu-ray technology like they did. Like, people have it, but now everyone's also moved on to digital or streaming.
Yeah, there's too many other options. When we made the transition from VHS to DVD, that was it. That's how you did it. Now we can stream. We don't even need physical stuff. So
I think that's
the world is changing.
Them too, and all the other stuff. So I think that we were hearing last week or the week before that Nintendo had surpassed Sony's value with the big Pokemon Go craze, but they didn't go up all that much. Like, Nintendo's value it went up a lot, but it didn't.
It went up by 120%.
But it was going from pretty low. So that just shows that Sony's level was already pretty low. I think that's really the big takeaway here, is that the rest of their business has been going down. PlayStation side has maintained, and it's
kept
dominant.
The whole company up.
Yeah, exactly. So
So,
but can they keep them up forever?
We'll see. But hit us up. Let us know what you think. What do you think about the NX rumors? What do you think about PlayStation just being like a juggernaut? Because it's amazing. But hit us up. Let us know. Comments down below, of course. At What's My Face on Twitter, Google Plus, Facebook. Always good ways of getting a hold of us. But that's it. We're done. We're going home. Wait, we're already home. But as always, I'm Brian. With me, as always, producer extraordinaire Brendan.
Yo.
And we are out of here. I can't really headbang anymore. I don't have the hair anymore.
Done.
I don't have. Look, it doesn't move really. Barely moves.
Okay. Well, there were no more headbanging.
Fun fact. I did my hair twice for this show. Little people don't know, because we did the show. I was planning on doing the show and did my hair up. Actually, it was better the first time. Second time's not as good. Sorry, folks. And then Brendan's like, we'll push it. Well, Brendan's like, all right, well, later. I was like, well, if you're tired of, doing something, we can push it to Wednesday. And he's like, all right, maybe we should push it to Wednesday. And so I'm like, all right, cool. Let me just go brush all this crap out of my hair. And then, like, literally the second I brushed it all out of my hair, Brendan hits me up, let's just do it tonight. I'm like, about to put it all back in.
That's how we roll.
But all right, everybody, good night.